This video asks, does socialism work? No. Oh, come on, it's been tried in hundreds of variations in dozens of countries for over 100 years, and it's brought unemployment, impoverishment, oppression, and over 100 million deaths in the 20th century alone. Oh, but that was the wrong sort of socialism. If only my version of socialism would be tried, that would work fine. Yeah, right. The theory sounds good. Instead of entrepreneurs creating businesses, jobs, and wealth, why not have the government do that? We'll get the clever and kind people in to run everything. Like me! Then the profit can be spent on nice things instead of mansions for the rich. But I'm a scientist, and in science, a theory has to be tested against results. As the great Thomas Sowell said, socialism in general has a record of failure so blatant that only an intellectual could ignore or evade it. I ask left-wing friends for examples of a socialist government that's delivered on the promise. They and ah and always say the Nordic ones. Sweden, yes, although it has problems now, Sweden was long able to run generous social provision while allowing democratic freedom. Well, Sweden has a small population and vast natural resources, which it has always been happy to sell to anyone. Then Norway, vast amounts of oil, small population. So yeah, in those circumstances, you can create a cuddly nanny state and afford it. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Sweden. My furniture comes from there. But countries with larger populations and much less iron ore or oil can't be as profligate as them. One example that lefties don't suggest when I ask about successful socialism is China. Well, China is a socialist state and successful at manufacturing, infrastructure and building up its military capability. But it is a brutal, oppressive government that doesn't care about human rights or environmental damage. Oh, but that was the wrong sort of socialism. If only my version of socialism would be tried, that would work fine. Right, yeah. Or compare the two halves of Korea. Or look at Germany when it was split into two. Even the Germans couldn't make socialism work. Socialist governments always become profligate or authoritarian or both. Oh, but that was the wrong sort of socialism. No! Socialists are like medieval alchemists trying to find a way to turn base metals into gold. They keep trying and keep insisting it's possible. It's just not. If I look back on my life in the UK, we alternated between Labour governments that showered money about and Conservative governments which had to turn the taps down. It's like, suppose you had two parents. One parent who was always saying, hey, let's have a party. Let's get lots of food and drinking on the credit card. Stop working. Let's run wild and have a great time. Then the other parent comes along and says, look at this mess. Look at these bills. Come on, we have to get cleaning up and working out how to pay for what we owe. Well, you'll love party parent, won't you? And pay up parent will seem like a nasty killjoy. But which parent is the responsible one? Every Labour government we've had left the country in a mess. If only my version of socialism would be tried, that would work fine. Oh, really? Labour's mismanagement in the 1970s left the UK having to beg from the International Monetary Fund. It was a huge task for the Thatcher government to haul us out of that pit and wean us off burning coal for our electricity. At the time, lefties were against cuts to handouts, of course, but also violently against the ending of coal power. Coal is full of heavy elements and all sorts of poisons, Burning it is the worst way to generate electricity. It's planetary suicide. That's not stopping China, of course. And the same lefties who fought for coal mining then are ardent environmentalists now. Anyway, then we got Blair and Brown, and at first they followed conservative economic policy, which they could afford to do, as they inherited a strong economy from the Tories. But then Blair lied to get us into an illegal war, and Brown went on a spending spree. He sold 395 metric tons of our gold reserve at the lowest price in decades. He got something over £2 billion for it. Today, that gold would be worth over £40 billion. Great job, Gordon. He also massively ramped up borrowing, easy at a time when global interest rates were extremely low. Look at this graph. The line was at reasonable levels until Brown became Prime Minister. You can see it rises gently in times of global slowdown, falling again as the global economy recovers, as it should. But look how Brown made our debt surge, even while the global economy was strong. And this graph doesn't include bank nationalisations or student loans, which will never be repaid, or the public sector pensions he has committed us to. Now, rates are back to normal, and the interest on Gordon Brown's debt is screwing us. Thanks, Gordon. What do we have to show for your rampant profligacy? Where's our integrated transport system? Our world-class health service? Our law and order? All that money just went up against the wall. We had the Conservative Lib Dem coalition from 2010 to 2015, then the Tories alone until 2024. The big jump you can see under their rule is COVID. And let's face it, no one knew how to react to COVID.
Oh, I did.
No, you didn't. At the time, the pandemic was compared to a war in terms of the need to borrow to pay for it. And remember, lefties wanted even more lockdowns and handouts. Some, I think, would have permanently required us to get government permission before leaving our homes. It's always the most stupid who think they should always be in charge of us, isn't it? Labour are back in power, and my prediction is that our debt will rise even further. And look, I don't like some of the people who get filthy rich under the capitalist system either. I know there are examples of excess, but that's no reason to follow a system which makes everyone worse off, as socialism does every time.
But that was the wrong sort.
Every time! Now, I'm recording this early in 2026. Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, that's what we call the Finance Minister in the UK, says 2026 will be the year the UK turns a corner. Let's see. If, come January 2027, inflation, unemployment, national debt and the NHS waiting lists are all down, please post smug comments below. I will eat humble pie. Also, New York City has a new mayor, an ardent lefty, who says his socialists are, finally, going to get it right this time. Zoran Mamdani has said, City Hall will deliver an agenda of safety, affordability and abundance. Rents will be frozen and buses free. It will take him more than 1 year to ruin this great city, so I'll give him 2. By January 2028, either New York will be prosperous and safe with declining social and health problems, or it will be bankrupt and lawless with increasing poverty. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it will be the latter, and the lefties will say,
Oh, but that was the wrong sort of socialism. If only my version of socialism would be tried, that would work fine.
It doesn't work, and if you indulge in the fantasy that one day it will, you are wrecking lives. It's not kind, it's not compassionate, caring, or good. If you truly care about people, you have to abandon socialism. Just let it go.